Hey everybody, it's Brooks here, Senior Pastor, First Baptist Church of the Islands. Thank you for joining me for today's Monday Focus. So just a few days ago, our family went through a transition that was brand new territory for us. And I can't say it was easy or enjoyable, but it was something that we had to face. We took our oldest, Hannah, off to college and drove her up there on a Wednesday night, stayed in a hotel. Thursday morning, 9 o'clock, she moves into her new dorm, her new space for the next 4 years. And then Thursday afternoon, we drove away. And it wasn't easy and it wasn't enjoyable. And man, I have to say, it's been a transition. It's getting better, but it's been quite a transition. But you know, it reminds me when I think about it of a passage of scripture in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, where Israel was in a place of transition, or more specifically Judah, but it was God's people. They were in a place of transition, and that transition was because of their sin. They had rebelled against God. They had sinned against Him. They had turned away from Him, and they had gone into exile. It was God's disciplining of them. And it's in the context of that backdrop that we read one of the most well-known verses in Scripture, Jeremiah 29, verse 11, where God tells His people, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." You know, God would tell them in Jeremiah 29 in those early verses to essentially bloom where they were planted, to live life. And of course, that would be understood that God would be in the center of that. But that whole scene there in Jeremiah 29 and that verse 11, is a great reminder that when we go through times of change and transition, regardless of how difficult it may be, regardless of how overwhelming it may be, you know what, we as followers of Jesus have the assurance that God goes with us and that He indeed does have a plan there, that He is very much at work, that we're not alone, that we're not just sort of drifting aimlessly, that God has a plan and He has a design even to those periods and those times of change in our lives. And part of that design is to mold and shape us and to teach us how to trust Him and how to walk in faith. And you know, when we do that, God over and over and over every single time has proven that as we walk in faith, that He is faithful. And that is something that we at times need to be reminded of. Hopefully not very often, right? The goal is that we never need to be reminded. We just know. But if you're in a place today where you're in a period in a place of change, transition, maybe it's a little bit difficult. You know, just remember that God never changes and that He is a God who is faithful. He is a God who loves you. If you're a believer, He's for you. He's not against you. And He's got a plan in place. He's going to work it as you walk with Him. You know, for you, hopefully, as you move through that change, you'll come through the other side, you'll look back and you'll have joy. And you'll be able to see, you know what? The change was worth it because of what God did. Let that be your Monday focus today. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, pass this video along. Hopefully it'll be an encouragement for them as well. You have a great day today. God bless you.